Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Google Digital Garage. Just before we get started, just a few little technical bits and pieces just to make sure that everything is working correctly. If you're having any trouble seeing or hearing the presentation today, the best thing that you can do is just refresh the internet window. That usually fixes most of the problems. And then if you're still having issues, especially with buffering, if the video is playing a bit slowly or skipping, if you go down to the bottom right corner of your YouTube video, there's a little cog there. Click on that cog, you'll get access to your YouTube settings, and you can adjust those and maybe turn the quality of the video down a little bit so it runs a bit smoother. And with that said, that hopefully means that you will have a flawless viewing experience today, which is what we're hoping for. So, welcome to the Google Digital Garage. My name is Zoe. I'm one of the trainers for the Google Digital Garage, which is Google's free digital skills training program. And just a little bit about myself. So, I'm a digital marketer. I've been working in digital marketing for about 8 years or so now. I run my own marketing company, and I work to really help other businesses and companies promote themselves online in a variety of different ways. And one of those ways is through live streaming. Now, I also do live stream in my spare time as well. I stream on a platform called Twitch, where I play video games and people watch me play video games. Which is something that is its own little tiny subculture. But so live streaming is something I do both as a business, from a business perspective and from a casual perspective. So hopefully I'm going to be able to help you out with any questions that you have today. And of course, I'm not alone here. I'd also like to introduce our moderator today, and that is Annie. Now, Annie has already said hello in the chat. She is going to be there in the live chat throughout the session. And what Annie's going to do is whenever you've got a question, if you've got something that needs a bit of clarification, anything like that, all you need to do is talk to Annie. If you send her a message in that live chat down there, she will be there to answer the questions, to share links, to share information, and she's also going to pass any really detailed questions over to me for our question break. So if you do have anything that you want to ask, we're more than happy to answer. We love getting questions, so please do feel free to ask anything at all that pops into your head whenever you need to. The only other thing I've got to say before we can crack on with the session is that we do run this sessions as part of a wider, broader range of digital garage training. So if you go to the link, it's in the video description. It will take you to all of our other training sessions that are coming up, and you can go onto those and choose which ones that you want to go for. They're all completely free. There's loads of information, loads of great learning that you can take part in, and it will enable you to just take part in more and more of these sessions, which obviously is, hopefully, I think you'll agree, a good thing. So what are we here to do today? Well, we've got three main goals and objectives. The first section today is going to be all about learning about live streaming. We're taking it from the very start. What is live streaming? What is it for? What does it do? How do we use it? And then we're going to move on to section 2, which is discovering all the different services and tools that you can use to live stream. There are a number of different options available. There's no one way to stream yourself online. Some of them are harder than others. Some of them are easier. Some of them are free. Some of them cost money. We're just going to help you discover which one is right for you. And then on the third section, we're going to teach you how to set up your live stream. How do you go about setting one up and getting started? Now, last thing before we fully get into the session, if you are a small business or you work for a small business or a charity in the UK, you do have access to free one-to-one mentoring from Google. So what this is, it's a free hour-long mentoring session with a Google Digital Garage trainer, just like myself, and it could be me. I'm one of the mentors for this program, and you get an hour just to talk about basically anything you would like to talk about. Now, obviously, our expertise is in digital marketing. If you've got a technical question about farming or manufacturing cars or something like that, we're unlikely to be able to answer that. But if you've got any questions about being online, about marketing your business, about some kind of online tool, if you're having problems with Facebook or Google Maps or something like that, we are here to help. So by all means, sign up for a session. It is completely free. You get a full hour with a Google Digital Garage trainer. So please do take advantage of that. And I can see that Annie has shared the link in the chat for you all as well. So fantastic. Thank you for that, Annie. So I've got a question for you all. Why did you decide to join today's session? Share your answers in the chat. There is a bit of a delay between me speaking and you hearing me. So there's going to be a bit of a delay between me saying this and actually getting your answers. So I might move on. But please do keep sending your answers over to me. And yeah, the question that I have to ask is, why did you decide to join today's session? What are you hoping to achieve with live streaming? Do you have a live stream plan? Are you just sort of exploring the idea? Are you looking to move into doing it as a part of a business, as part of a hobby? Let us know in the chat, why did you decide to join the session today? Like I said, I'm going to move on because there is a delay and I don't want to just be sat here on this slide waiting. But please do share your answers with me. It'd be really interesting to hear those, and we'll get to those when we have a question break as well. So what is live streaming? Here's the first part of the session. What actually is live streaming? Some of you might know already. Some of you, this might be completely new that you've joined this session just to find out. So what is live streaming? Well, it might be something that you've done before. The thing about live streaming is that it is any kind of live video. So right now, what we are doing right now is live streaming. I am streaming live to you. This isn't pre-recorded. You're not watching a video. And you can tell it's not pre-recorded because I can see that you're messaging in the chat. I can see that we've got Adam from Morocco. We've got Graphic Point from Nairobi. We've got Manuel. We've got Valeria. We've got Blessing. Tan from Malaysia. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for joining us today, everybody. I'm really interested to see that we've got people from all around the world, which is always fantastic. But I wouldn't be able to do that without the live stream, because if this was pre-recorded, obviously I wouldn't be able to answer your questions. I wouldn't be able to interact with you because I would have already recorded this. I wouldn't be able to see your questions. So live stream obviously does have a big advantage there. So any kind of live video counts as live streaming, but you might have done this already. Maybe you stream on a platform like Twitch as a hobby. Maybe you have shared a Facebook Live video or an Instagram Live video, because social media allows you to live stream as well. There's a kind of a blurred line around things like Zoom or Google Meets or Microsoft Teams. Those kind of could count as live streaming, couldn't they? Because we're broadcasting ourselves live to another group of people. So we've probably tried something similar to live streaming before, even if we haven't tried something that's kind of official live streaming. Obviously, live streaming has become a bigger thing recently because of COVID-19. Live streaming services increased by 51% since COVID-19. And this was 2020. So just in the first year of COVID, live streaming services increased by 51% because obviously people were not able to go out and take part in face-to-face events. I know we've got people all around the world. I don't know what the situation is in different countries. Certainly here in the UK, things are opening up a little bit more, and more people are able to do things face-to-face. So maybe we'll see those live streaming services go down a little bit. But in the UK, certainly in the first year of COVID-19, streaming rose by 39%, and social media usage rose as well by 40% because we were trapped inside, we were locked down, we didn't want to go out, we were worried about COVID-19. So we were looking for more and more interactive things that we could do over the internet without leaving the safety of our homes. Now, what are the advantages of live streaming? I mean, first of all, it's very useful for connection with your audience. Again, we could do pre-recorded streaming, couldn't we? I could have recorded this session. I could have, last night before I went to bed, I could have recorded this entire presentation, I could have delivered it, and I could have just popped this up on YouTube. But again, then I wouldn't be able to see your questions. I wouldn't be able to say hi to you. I wouldn't be able to, greet you by name. It wouldn't be as engaging. I wouldn't be able to address any issues that you guys have. I wouldn't be able to know, for example, that Tan wants to learn how to do live streaming to get more people, to get a bigger audience. I wouldn't be able to know that Blessing is interested in live streaming and just wants to understand a bit more about it. I wouldn't know that Valeria wants to start working online and therefore live streaming is a way to do that. So, this increases the engagement. It means that we can get feedback live. It means that hopefully we can build a bit of trust as well, that we can be more authentic, that you're getting a more authentic version of me because I'm interacting with you. And that authenticity is really useful. If you're building a brand, if you're trying to increase your audience, you're trying to build an audience, authenticity is so important. People want to interact with people that they trust, that they feel like they know. And live streaming helps you do that. And of course, one bullet point on this slide that we've not talked about yet is discussing topical events. Again, if I'd recorded this session a year ago, I wouldn't be able to say that now in the UK we are opening up a little bit, that we're going to more face-to-face meetings, because a year ago that wasn't true. It might have been true. We've gone through several cycles of opening up and locking down, I suppose. But it means that I can, we can talk about, Elon Musk buying Twitter and things like that, because that's new news. So if we, that's not particularly relevant for us today. It's just the first piece of news that came into my head. But we can talk about these things because they are topical, because we are live. We couldn't do that if this was pre-recorded. We would be talking about out-of-date events. So it lets us stay current. There's a whole range of other reasons as well. First of all, diversifying your audience. Now, what that means is that there is a given audience for any kind of platform. So, for example, YouTube videos, non-live streamed YouTube videos, there is an audience for that. If you think about the kind of people who watch YouTube videos, they're largely younger people, are very big on YouTube. So we're talking sort of 18 and under is a huge audience. They're people with a lot of spare time because they are, YouTube videos are things that you have to focus on. They are often things that you could also have on in the background, I suppose. If you think about Twitter, your audience on Twitter is going to be usually sort of around my age, sort of 25 to 40 is the kind of real big age range for Twitter. Facebook, the age range is older. All of these platforms have got their own audiences because they appeal to specific groups of people. Live streaming also appeals to specific groups of people. So if you've already got your older audience on Facebook, you've got your younger audience on TikTok, maybe. Well, what's another good way of getting another group of people to know who you are and who your business is? Live streaming is one venue for that. It lets you engage in real time with people. It means that you can, take an hour out of your day and produce an hour-long video. That real-time engagement is actually really useful and really important, because the time it takes to create and edit a video is much longer than the video itself, usually. So if you were to create a YouTube video, you might film 20 hours of footage to get a half an hour video, whereas a live stream is exactly as long as it needs to be. I'm going to be here with you. It'll be 45 minutes in total. We're going to be finishing at 10:45 Greenwich Mean Time in the UK. So that means that we are able to engage in that real time. I don't have to spend time editing. It means that you can be authentic. Live streaming is a little bit more natural because you don't have I can't go back and edit the things that I say. If I stumble over my words, if I say something that maybe I think, oh, actually, that wasn't quite right, I can't go back and edit that out of the video. I've said it live on stream. Obviously, that means that, some people might say something unpleasant, and something might slip out that gets them very heavily criticized. That's a possibility as well. You do have to be careful about what you say when you're live streaming. because you don't want to, for example, accidentally offend a group of people or say a swear word or something like that will potentially get you criticized. So you do have to watch out. But that authenticity, again, it builds trust. It means that people trust you a lot more because you're presenting your useful, your unedited self, your authentic self. Like I said, it lets you connect better with audiences because we can talk to each other. It's two-way. It's not just one way. I'm not just filming a video and then you guys watch it. I'm filming the video, but I can also interact with you as well. And it is cost effective because, again, it doesn't cost much to get set up. It doesn't take much time to create a live stream. When I live stream, it only takes the time that I spend streaming. It doesn't require me to go back and edit any video or anything like that. So it is also cost effective for businesses. So we've reached our first question break. Do we have any questions from anybody? Looking at the live chat, I can't see anything at the minute, so I am going to move on. But if you do have any questions, we've got a couple more question breaks coming up. So please do feel free to share them whenever you think of them. So we've sort of hopefully understand a bit more about why we live stream. What's the point of doing it? What's the benefits to it? Now let's look at how. What tools and services exist that we can use to stream ourselves online? So are there any platforms that you are familiar with? Now that's a question for you all. I'll give you a clue. I've mentioned one already. In fact, I've mentioned two already. So also a bit of a test to see how much you've remembered. But anyone know any live streaming platforms? Any platforms that you can think of? Pop them in the chat. Again, there is a little bit of a delay, so I will move on, but I'll come back to this question in a second. But yeah, let us know, what live streaming platforms are you currently familiar with? Now, when we are choosing a platform, and we'll get back to what platforms exist once we get some answers through from that previous question. When you're choosing a platform, you do need to think of a few different things because there's no one-size-fits-all streaming service. Currently, the streaming service we are using right now is called StreamYard. That's StreamYard.com. And that is a platform that we use to stream to you guys right now. We find it convenient. We find it easy. It has a lot of benefits. It's not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect platform. We don't have a huge amount of control, for example, about where my little video is on the screen. It's always going to be in one of 2 or 3 places. If I wanted to move it so that my video was in the top right corner, we wouldn't be able to do that. But we don't need that. So for us, StreamYard works. So we're considering the pros and cons. So first thing to think about is, what devices are you using? So, for example, do you have access to a decent computer? If you're streaming, then it can be quite intensive. Not always. The way that we used to stream for these Google Digital Garage sessions used a program that was actually quite intensive. So we need a good, powerful computer to use it. Now we use StreamYard. It doesn't require the same amount of power, but it doesn't give us the same amount of control either. So there again, pros and cons. If you've just got your phone, there's still plenty of options there for you. So you need to think about what devices that you're using, because that is going to come into effect. You need to think about the size of your audience. How easy is it going to be for them to access your stream if you've got a big audience or a small audience? And also, how much interaction do you want to have? How much engagement do you want to have? I can see that we've got some options coming up. So Tana said TikTok. TikTok is absolutely a live streaming platform. You can live stream through TikTok. Again, if we think about what to consider there, we've got pretty much unlimited audience size for TikTok. We've got loads of people can interact with it. Devices to live stream on TikTok, you only need a phone, and to access it, you only need a phone. So it gives you a lot of real positives there. Interaction and engagement, yes, you can interact with people through TikTok. The downside being that a lot is going on the screen. It's quite a busy screen. So it then can become harder to read people's messages, and they might fly past. You might miss people's messages. So again, pros and cons. There are things that we like about TikTok, things that are brilliant about TikTok. There are also things that don't work so well. Blessing has put Zoom or Google Meets. Those are also good platforms if you want to stream a presentation or something like that. Again, you can access them on pretty much any device, although you do need to be able to download the Zoom app if you are using Zoom. They are best for small audiences though, because we're not going to be able to reach an audience of thousands. It's only going to be for people who have the invite. Interaction and engagement, there's a lot of interaction that you can do with Zoom and Google Meets, because anyone can just come off mute and talk. But then that could be a problem if you don't want people to come off mute and interrupt you. So again, pros and cons. You're going to get bored of me saying pros and cons now. Valeria's raised a good point there. TikTok is maybe not for a specific target audience. You can absolutely target your audience with TikTok because you can use things like hashtags, and TikTok also has a good algorithm, so it will try and put your live stream in front of the people it thinks is the most relevant for. But you don't have a huge amount of control over that. So, Valeria, that is a really good point. It's maybe harder to get a target audience. If you used something like YouTube Live or Twitch is another platform, you can have a little bit more control over who sees your live stream. Just like right now, you guys see this live stream because you've got a link to it. People aren't able to just find this browsing through YouTube, so we have a little bit of control over that. So choosing your platform, you need to think about, first of all, your audience demographic. And what that means is, who is your audience and what platforms are they used to? TikTok, for example, really good for younger audience, people who are really familiar with TikTok. If you were trying to do a live stream for my parents, they wouldn't want to use TikTok. They wouldn't know well, they don't know what it is. They'd be too nervous to download an app they didn't understand, so they wouldn't watch it. So depending on your audience demographic will depend what tool you end up using. Platform functionality. That means what can that platform let you do? Again, we're using StreamYard and YouTube Live. That lets us do a lot. It's very easy to use, but it means that we don't have a lot of control over how this looks. We can choose the background. We can choose a few like animations, like the countdown that we put in, but we can't control exactly where my video appears, exactly where the presentation appears, exactly how big each one is. So, again, some of that functionality isn't there. So again, we choose, I'm going to say it again, pros and cons. Interactivity. How interactive is it? We're using YouTube Live. That means that we can see your comments, we can see your questions, and we can answer them in the chat. Either Annie can answer them or I can answer them if I see them. In the meantime, what we don't have is maybe the ability to do polls, to add kind of games, things like that, which we might be able to get with something like Twitch, for example. We can't offer you rewards. You can't subscribe. We can't make this into a game, which some live streaming platforms really make it into a fun experience to be an audience member. They make it into a bit of a game, which makes it more likely that people are going to stick around for your live streams. Database of users. If you have a database of users, if you've got access to a database of users, you might know, right, when are they most active? Where are they most active? If you know that your audience is on Instagram, well, an Instagram Live would be the best option for you because you know your users are there. Equipment available. If you need to stream with a computer, like I'm doing right now, well, then you need a webcam. You might need a good microphone if you want it to be very professional. I've got a little desktop microphone. Hopefully I've not just messed with the sound too badly, but I've got a little desktop microphone so that you can all hear me okay. I've got a light shining on my face so that you can all see me well. I've got a screen behind me so I've not got a distracting background. So I need quite a lot of equipment to be able to do this live stream. If we were just doing a quick one on my phone on TikTok, we wouldn't need any of that equipment. So again, that's going to affect things. And accessibility. How easy is it for people to access your platform? Do they need to download an app, for example? So all of these things are worth considering. When you're going live, make sure you're using social media. You can announce, you can have a little bit of a countdown to when you're going live, depending on the platform that you're using, but also make sure you're posting on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Let people know that you've got a live stream coming up. Tell them when it's coming. You know, we're going live in half an hour. We're live right now. Announce your live events, because that's going to increase the number of people who turn up on your live stream. Make sure you're reaching large audiences by scheduling your sessions in advance. If you want to reach the biggest audiences, it's always going to be worth letting them know when they can expect your live stream, because then they can anticipate that. They can go, right, okay, I know that there's a live stream coming up on Friday evening that I'd really like to watch. So I'm not gonna be available. I'm not gonna book anything in for that Friday evening. If you just suddenly go, by the way, I'm live, then people are going to be busy. They're going to be doing other things. Make sure you participate in the conversations. That's both during the live stream, but also on social media before the live stream. Talk to your audience. That's going to increase the size of your audience, because because of how social media works, people are going to be more likely to see your conversations that you're having. Make sure you're looking at who your audience is as well. Try to understand who your audience is. Think about things like changing your backgrounds. Again, I've got a screen behind me, just a little white screen, and all that does is it makes that there's nothing distracting behind me. You can't see if my dog walks backwards and forwards throughout the shot, or if my wife walks back and forth throughout the shot, or anything like that, because they can just go behind my screen. So the video backgrounds is useful. You can even use blurs. So you blur out your background or use a virtual background. You might have seen that on Zoom before, or Google Meets, or things like that. And of course, sharing your screen. Make sure that if you want to do that, that you can really reach a larger audience by sharing your screen. So for example, right now, I'm sharing a presentation. This live stream isn't just me talking, which is obviously good, because we don't want it to just be me talking. We want there to be more information. And make them interactive. There's loads of different ways that you can do that. Some tools have virtual hand raising, for example, where users can click on a button to raise their hand just to say that they've got a question. You can use things like Slido is a tool that lets you create polls and quizzes and little games that you can send to the participants and they can join in. If you're using something like Zoom or Google Meets or Microsoft Teams, you can create a breakout room so that you can split your audience into smaller groups so they can have little discussions. And of course, there's the chat function. I'm reading the chat right now. I can see people's questions and comments, and we're going to use that to interact with them, which is also good because I can see we've got a question break right now, so I can read those questions after a quick sip of tea. So Tan has asked, how do you use hashtags? And I can see, Tan, that Annie has linked a little link there for you that hopefully will help you out. In a very basic sense, all you need to do is use the hash key on your keyboard, which just looks like 4 lines crossing over each other. And then you type in a word. So if I wanted to use the hashtag tea, then I would type in hashtag and then the word tea. And that would tag my video as being about tea. And then anybody searching for that hashtag, anybody looking for videos on tea, would be able to see that hashtag and see that my video had something to do with it. So that's basically how it works. I would look at that link that Annie has shared, and that should give you plenty of information. And then Valeria has said the equipment is a resistance. Because you don't know much about that. We have got equipment coming up, Valeria, so we're going to be chatting through what equipment you need. What we don't have, and just to sort of let you know what's coming up, we won't be able to tell you exactly what what webcam to buy, what microphone to buy. It's worth you need to do your own research with that kind of things and buy the ones that make most sense with your budget, things like that. So we will just be giving you an idea of what you need to buy in order to live stream. But remember, you can just use a phone. It's possible to use a phone and get a really good live stream out of that. Tan, you just did hashtag T. Your previous message was a hashtag. So you would use that in the description of your TikTok videos, or you'd use that online as well. If you were to, send a tweet, you'd use the hashtag. All that using that hash does is it means that other people will search for hashtags. So if I'm on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram and I want to learn more about live streaming, I might search for the hashtag live streaming, and I would see all of the videos and all of the comments, all of the social media posts that people had used that hashtag in. It helps me find that information. So that's the only difference there. So we'll move on. I'm going to have another sip of tea because my voice is going. We'll move on now to setting up a live stream. What do you actually need to do to set up a live stream and to succeed, essentially, at live streaming? So first things first, we've got 4 main things, a sort of a bit of a checklist. So you need to think about your equipment, your internet speed, your software, and your setup. And we're going to go through each of those in turn. So first of all, what equipment? On the most basic level, you need a camera and you need picture and sound. Lighting is there as well. We'll leave lighting for now because on a very basic level, all you need to do is have picture and sound. That means you need a camera and a microphone. Now, most computers come with webcams nowadays. If you've got a laptop, it probably has a webcam built in. If you've got a smartphone, you've probably got a camera on that smartphone. So you've probably got access to a camera. These will almost always be pretty good. If you want to stream at high definition, so right now I'm streaming at quite a high definition. It's good quality video. You might want to buy a separate webcam. So I have got a separate webcam that's not built into my computer. You can find quite affordable options online. Look for webcams that are able to film at 1080p. That's 1080 and then the letter P. That is a resolution. All it means is that it can film at very high resolution, which means you'll get good high quality video out of it. Obviously, you can also use your smartphone. Sometimes your smartphone cameras will be better than any webcam you can buy. They are almost always capable of filming in that 1080p high definition. So you might already have access to a really, really good camera. But then you do need to think about sound. Now, most webcams do come with a microphone built in, but it's not going to be a really high quality one. Your phone has a microphone built in. However, the microphone on your mobile phone is designed for picking up noise when it's clamped next to your face when you're talking on the phone. It's not really designed for picking up high quality sound from a filming distance. So a separate microphone is probably what I would say is that if you make a purchase, the first thing that you should buy is a good microphone. You can live without people seeing you well if they can hear you well for most purposes. And then lighting. As I said before, I've got quite an inexpensive ring light that's just shining on my face right now. A ring light is a good purchase. You can usually get them quite cheap. You can also use natural light, but make sure that light is shining directly onto your face. If you've got light coming in from the side or behind you, it will wash you out. I'll show you. I've got a window next to me. And it compensates a little bit, but you can see that the lighting quality, now I open my curtains, it's not great anymore. I'm quite bright on this side and dark on this side. And if I close that curtain, you can see it's much more even and much natural. And just for the fun of it, let's see what I look like without my lights on. So this is what it looks like without my light on. Still okay. I've got a good webcam that is compensating for the fact that I've not got great lighting right now, but it's harder to see me. Whereas if I turn my light back on, much better. You can see me in much better, higher definition as I am sitting right next to you. So lighting does make quite a big difference. Check your internet speed as well. If you're going to be streaming, you're going to be sending a lot of data through the internet. You need to check the speed of your internet. Now, all you need to do is go to, if you go to Google and you search for internet speed test, Google does have its own speed test. And if you run that, it will tell you what your download speed and your upload speed is. Now, really, if you want to be streaming, you need an upload speed of about 3 or higher Mbps. That's the unit that the internet speed is measured by. Download speed isn't really that important because you're not downloading anything, you're uploading your data to the internet. So look at your upload speed. You ideally want to be higher than 3 Mbps, but the higher the better. Honestly, the faster your internet is, the better it's going to be for your live stream. So do check that internet speed. Think about software to help you stream. Now, if you're going to be live streaming, you do need to stream through what's called an encoder. And that is a program that takes your streaming data and transmits it to the platform you're using. So right now we're using YouTube Live, but our encoder, the program that we're using, is StreamYard. We could also use OBS is another option. That's Open Broadcast Studio. There are a few other, I can't remember the name of any at the top of my head right now, but there are a few different programs that let you stream, to encode your stream and send it to a particular platform. If you want to get really advanced, you could have multiple cameras, multiple audio inputs, and you could stream multiple things at once. So, for example, maybe I could play a video through this setup that I've got right now, and you could be watching a video on my live stream. Maybe I also want to be doing something in the background. So, for example, there are quite a lot of people who stream themselves cooking or doing crafts, and they usually have a camera pointing at the thing that they're cooking or crafting, so usually pointing at their hands, and a camera pointing at their face. So you need a platform that enables you to do that if you're going to be doing that kind of thing where you need to have multiple angles shown at once. So you need to be able to find a good program that lets you do that. Again, OBS, I think it's Open Broadcasting Software. That's a good one to start with. There are a lot of good guides online on how to use OBS. So I would recommend that as a good place to start. Then we need to get set up. Again, we need to think about our lighting. How bright is the room? Is there any light shining behind you or to the sides? If so, can we block that out? Do we have space? At the minute, I'm live streaming myself sat at a chair. As long as I've got space around me to gesture, I'm fine. I don't need any more space. If I was streaming myself doing something more active, I would need a bigger space. So make sure you've got that thought of. And also thinking of distractions. Do you want a busy space? Do you want lots and lots going on in the background? Because if you do, people are likely going to be distracted and they're not going to see you. So if you have got a nice sort of stream in front of, that's always a good idea. And then, of course, sound. Do you have a nice quiet space? If you've got a room with lots of fabric in it, so if you can stream near curtains, in a room with a carpet, if you've got a wall hanging, all of those are really, really, really good for sound because they absorb echoes. So if you're in a room with a lot of hard surfaces, think like a church or a basement where you've got concrete floors, stone walls, things like that, the sound bounces off that and you get lots and lots of echoes. Whereas if you've got lots of fabric around you, like my screen is fabric, I've got the curtains next to me, I've got a carpeted floor, there's less surface for the sound to bounce off. So you get less echo and higher quality sound, and also less background noise as well. Think about the background noise that you might be possibly getting. And then you have to actually think about what you're going to live stream. Now, what's your content going to be? First of all, think about what your goal is. What do you want to achieve with your live stream? Are you just hoping to entertain people? Are you hoping to build an audience? Are you hoping to teach people about a specific subject? Make sure you're creating content that matches that goal, and then use that content to guide what exactly you do with your live stream. Guide your flow, as it says there. A piece of advice is to treat it a bit like a chat show. Nice and informal. There's no script, but you have got specific set segments. If you watch a chat show, they'll spend 15 minutes on one guest and 15 minutes on the next guest, and they'll have different segments and things like that. There's no script, but it's still planned out based on the content they need to get through. So think about that as a way of guiding you through a live stream. Before you stream, a few tips. Number one, run a dress rehearsal. Rehearse. The more practice you do, the better it's going to get. If you think that I sound natural and knowledgeable right now, it's only because I've done this a lot. I've practiced a lot. Maybe you think I sound rubbish, in which case all that practice is probably not paid off. I need to do more of it. But hopefully you think that I sound knowledgeable and that this is all coming across quite well. That's only because of the practice that I've had of this. Schedule your sessions as well. That makes sure that you can advertise them so that people know when to expect your streams. Share with care. When you share your screen during a live stream, like right now, I'm sharing my screen. You can see what's on my computer screen. So obviously, I only want to show you what is useful to you. I only want to show you this presentation. What I don't want to do is accidentally switch to the tab where I've got my online banking up, or my social media up, or I've got my emails up, so you can see my personal information. So be careful about what you share. Make sure you're only displaying the things that you want to display. If I were you, when I stream, both for work and for a hobby, I close down all other tabs. Everything that I don't need, I close down. So that way I know the only things that I could share are the things that I need for the stream anyway. And then you're ready to go. Lights, camera, action. That's all you need to do. Is make sure you've got good lighting, a good camera, and get started. So you've got an opportunity right here to think about how live streaming has worked for you today. You have been watching a live stream. So how has it been? Have you had a good experience? Has the fact that we were live made the experience better? Let us know in the chat. Again, I'm going to move on because we are a little bit short on time, but let us know in the chat what you think about how this live stream worked out today. Now, YouTube Live is a platform that you can use to live stream. It's got a load of different features, but I'm going to skim over them because, again, we are getting a little bit short on time. But there is a link there to the YouTube Creator Academy. And Annie, if you wouldn't mind sharing that in the chat, that will explain how you can use all of these different features of YouTube Live. All you need to do is sign up to YouTube using your email and verify your account. It can take about 24 hours to verify your account. Once you've done that, you just need to pop your details of your live stream in and go live. It's really, really simple. Verifying the account, all you do is sign up with your email. You will receive a verification code. You can either get that called, as in someone can call you up, or you can get a text message sent to you, and then that will all get sorted out. And then going live on YouTube, you can click create in the top right corner of your YouTube channel, and then you'll see it says go live. It can take up to 24 hours to ready the account for live streaming. So if you've just set up a YouTube account, it will take 24 hours before you're able to start streaming through that. But then you're able to go live almost straight away. And this is what it will look like. This is your preview. It will show you a preview of what your live stream is going to look like. And then you can see there's a little blue go live button right there. And once you're happy with how everything looks, you've added a title for your live stream, you've added all of the important data like the category, how private it is, things like that. You can click go live and you'll be ready to go. When you're in a stream, of course, there are a few things that you need to consider. First of all, responding to comments. Try and make sure you're doing that as much as possible because that's going to be very useful. It's going to increase that engagement. Try to monitor your stream so you can see how it's going. Use an external display if you've got another monitor, or you can watch it on your phone or another laptop or something like that. Use on-screen text if you can. Subtitles can be useful. We're using a slide right now. We're using slides so that you've got something to look at rather than just listening to me. So use visuals as much as you can and try to be consistent. Go live at a regular time because people like that kind of structure. And measure your success. See how well you are doing. You can track your live stream analytics to see how many people are watching your streams. You can track how many people have subscribed to your channel, whether that's your YouTube channel or another platform. And you can set yourself goals as well. So try to make sure you're measuring how well your live stream is going. And then we've got more resources for you on the YouTube Creator Academy. So there's a link there, creatoracademy.youtube.com. It's similar to the link that Annie's already shared in the chat. That is the YouTube Creator Academy that will give you all of the information you need. Now, we are smack bang out of time, unfortunately. So if you do have any questions, do pop them in the chat. If we do get a chance, I will answer them, but we are running out of time completely. So we have reached the end of the session. So what are your next steps? Well, first of all, make sure that if you are a small business or charity based in the UK, you're signing up for a free one-to-one mentoring, which is available from Google. Again, you get a full hour session. It is completely free. So you can sign up at the link there, g.co/UK mentoring. And that is it from me. So the only thing left to say is that if you do have any feedback for us, we have a feedback form right there, goo.girl/digital garage feedback. We love getting feedback. So please do let us know what you thought about the session, if you're happy with it, if there's anything that you want us to improve. And then the only thing left for me to say is thank you all for listening. It's been a real pleasure chatting to you. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your questions. And take care. And I hopefully will see you again on another Digital Garage session in the future. Bye-bye.